Oh, hello. Hope you all are doing well. This video is going to be different than most of my traditional elevator videos, as I want to bring you something a bit more high quality than I usually do. I recently moved out of the apartment building, Tucson Park Avenue, after living here for college in my junior year. I spent a total of 7 months on and off while I was there. And for the most part, it was a pretty fantastic experience, which I genuinely enjoyed. However, there are a few things that I wish were done better, which I'll talk about later. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why did I decide to live at a high-rise, specifically there? Well, I didn't like what I was living for my fall 2024 semester, as it was a very annoying drive over there. It was too far, and I often had a close call. Someone who leased at the hub offered to give me 2 months off of a spring and summer lease for 2025. We went through a discount to my rent, and we checked out the deal, and it was in fact legitimate. So the lease changed hands, and I got a massive discount to my rent, making it pretty damn affordable for me to live at the hub. And for these types of places, I got a fantastic space that seems to be up to the hype, especially for what they say. I initially had worry about this place, but in reality, you need to know exactly what you're getting into to have a great time there. If you know they provide matches what you want, chances are it'll be fun for you. And in fact, if I believe that you've managed to find a great rent deal and have great roommates, it'll be the best way to live near campus. It blows the Honors Village and at least 4 other buildings out of the water, and it will be extremely competent with the rest of them. It manages to consistently deliver what was advertised, and if it ever was not advertised, it was fixed quickly. I also felt pretty safe here, which I would not say about all properties in the area. There's some in particular I don't like. With my general thoughts out of the way, let's begin the review of Hub Park Avenue in spring 2025. One more thing I should just make clear to you guys is that I did not move in the same way as you would if you typically had a lease here. When I did, it was pretty straightforward, but sometimes it might be more chaotic if there are more people. I was able to temporarily use the underground garage, more than that in a couple minutes, to load stuff into my car. Upon moving in, I was given 3 keys and an introduction packet, a fob which provided access to the building, elevators and unit door, a bedroom key so it stayed private, and a key for the mailbox on the main floor. On the standard move-in day, which was back in August, it was a lot busier, but there were move-in teams which would help take stuff up to your unit. Management was very friendly throughout my term, and my roommate helped me a lot with moving in. I definitely felt like I belonged here, and things were very enjoyable overall. We will go up the building as the review goes on, so let's start off with the entry and the lobby.
You now join me at Speedway Boulevard and Park Avenue in Tucson. Hub Park Avenue is located at the southwest corner of the intersection and stretches all the way west to Tyndall Avenue, with the gap in the middle for the garage entrance. I really like the design of this building as it has elements which make it look anti-generic. The building is a mellow pink color with the occasional white elements. This building has also a bunch of retail establishments like Jack in the Box and Subway on the first floor, making a bite truly convenient, especially at Jack's. But anyway, let's hop inside. Scan your fob on the door, and there you go. The main doors look pretty nice and sort of evoke entry into the fancy building. Once you get inside, you'll find a very large main lobby area to look around. To your left, you'll find the concierge and office area. I filmed this at a time when the office was closed, so no one is here, but when they are, this could be a good place to hang out and talk to them. The staff here was always fantastic, and even if they weren't always met, for one reason or another, my requests were always taken to heart. I love the team here, they're great. Also, yes, there is music playing, so I'm sorry if this video gets claimed by copyright. Anyway, if you go straight instead of left from the doors, you'll enter the 2-story lounge and atrium. This always had a pretty sleek atmosphere in my opinion, and they actually made concrete blocks useful as wall art, and I think they pulled that off. That's another thing, this building has its own flavor, and I'll show you some examples of it soon. The first section of this lounge is a large table with some chairs around it, followed by a couch, some more chairs, and smaller wooden tables, all with comfortable seating. There's even a quote-unquote bar with accent lighting so you can get that work done. And I enjoy the selection of pictures they have here too. Past that, there are some iMacs that you could use in theory, along with the extension monitor for your system. Unfortunately, the mouse was never charged, and so we cannot use it how we wished. Turning around, we see a couch that looks like lips, which is fairly common, and then we have these bathrooms. Look at these! These are so trendy! There's so much character here, and it's so trendy design. Like, take a look. I love how these look. You'll never have a bad day when you're here. It's like, I don't know, it's just fantastic. You'll see more pictures and the lip couch again. And then once we get back over there, we can go ahead and see to the back of the atrium and the study lounge. This is a very nice place to get work done. Plus you can hop into bed. To the left, you'll see a printer. This is an all-in-one laser unit, but with DRM on it. You'll have to use Print with me. Next comes my favorite part, these study pods in the corners. These are so good. They're an extension of the main study hall, but you can close the curtains and have your own TV as well. You can hook up your laptop to it, and there you go. I spent many hours in these rooms. They're legitimately amazing places to be productive. I highly recommend it. In the lounge, there's lots of seating and outlets, plus the walls are hand-painted with the building's signature aesthetic, which is a very nice touch. A brief shot back in the atrium, which I'm going to do just about now because there is a skylight, complete with a scattered light fixture, which I really like. You can also see into the gym above, which is, I don't know how, but it's there nonetheless. And then you can go ahead and see the mailroom. This is where you get your mail and your packages. By the way, please sign up for parcel pending as soon as you move in. It'll save you the hassle of planning when to get your packages when the office is open. Also, take a look at the communication glyphs like that phone. They're so neat. So let's go ahead and take a look around and see what it looks like over here. This is really nice. But what's downstairs? Why, that would be the underground parking garage. And admittedly, it is pretty nice. It is also secure, so nobody unscrupulous can randomly enter and take your car or walk into the building. If you add it on, you'll get an assigned parking space here or in the west garage across the building, and you'll get a tag to unlock the gate. Unfortunately, this comes at a steep sum of $175 additionally per month. I would instead park at Park Avenue or Main Gate Garage, as while you do have to share, it's not a far walk to those, especially from Park Avenue Garage. It's right across Speedway. But oh well, what do you get when you paid for this? Well, like I said, a secure place to put your car, and you don't have to leave the building to load stuff into your car. At least this place seems to deliver well in its secured access, unlike a couple of other high-rises nearby. However, not all hope is lost if you don't get access to the garage, as I'll just show you in just a minute. You can also see into other parts of the garage right over here. There's not many people here because I filmed this during the summer, which will become more apparent as I go throughout the review. A neat amenity that is complimentary to everyone is that you can park your bike for free underground, inside of a cage locked by your fob. This is a great idea as it curbs theft. While this never happened during my tenure, unfortunately someone might have not shut the gate properly one time, and you can sometimes see a frame taken off a bike. I believe they were found later on, but someone still tried to do that. So I would still recommend hooking your bike to the racks, using a lock on your frame, but it's a way better solution than I had in my old dorm, where it was visible at all times, and someone could open one of my locks. Now that you're all parked and settled here, where will you actually be living inside the building? Let's go up! I do apologize, as it might be a bit of a mess.
Alright everyone, here is the hallway, and we are now at the unit. So let's go ahead and explore. In case anyone's wondering, this is the 5x4D. Okay. So once you enter the unit, you're greeted by the door here, and this here is a really nice feature, inbuilt laundry. Almost all of the high-rises on your campus have such a thing, but it's just always really nice to have access to this when some apartments don't, but just a really nice feature. Get an apartment with in-unit laundry, no matter what, it's a lifesaver. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So first we have our kitchen here. Let's start with the fridge. It's not the most organized thing in the world right now, but you get the idea. Safe for butter and all other sorts of things you might need. And the freezer. This is pretty tall, but the one thing I want to point out is the width is pretty darn narrow. So my hand, it's about as wide as my hand. It's about as wide as my hand. And to put this in perspective, my birthday was a couple months ago, and I tried to put my cake in here, but I had to turn it sideways because it just didn't fit otherwise. So that's a bit annoying. So keep in mind that the fridge is pretty narrow when you're going to do that stuff. But hey, the fridge got a water station, and that's one of my favorite features. So I can just grab my bottle and fill it up with no problem at all. So yes, here is the main living space from my perspective here. Let me zoom out actually so you can see it. I apologize for this. One of my roommates' stuff is over here, but here you go. Here is the table or the bar, and we have 4 stools right here, even though it's technically a 5-bed, but I only ever lived with 3 other people, so it wasn't a huge problem. Here's our microwave. It's actually really quiet in operation, which is very nice. And our stove / oven. I apologize for the little scratch marks. That was due to some pans and whatnot. Well, And of course, we have a pretty large oven. Turn it on. See inside, very nice. So now we got our little shelves and stuff like that. We put a bunch of things here, but mostly it's home to our flat pot plates and cups and glasses and whatever. I don't know why this is tilted, but there we go. Paper towel holder, of course, and things. This toaster, this blender, and this thing, they don't come with a unit. Neither does this nostalgia thing or this rice cooker. We brought these in our room separately, Ruth and I. Here's the sink. It's pretty straightforward. Here's something like that. And you get to go out like this. The one annoying thing about this, they did not think this through when they built this place. Yeah. I don't know why this is just a piece of regular wall. It should have been like going on with the quartz here, but it's okay. Oh, here's a dishwasher. I actually can get this going. There we go. Got a bunch of space for you. Yes. Yes, whatever it's like drinking. His foreign printer not included, of course. But this TV is included. It's a 55-inch Samsung Smart TV. However, the interface is kind of slow. Let me show you. I mean, this is just sort of a problem with these smart TVs in general, is that they're a little bit slow to get to. Let me try and see how... Okay, now it's behaving a bit better than usual. See it lag there for a second? So I'm trying to go over to YouTube. It's not loading yet. Okay, now it's loading. I might have the name on it, so I'm not gonna show. Alright, here we are, YouTube. And it's loaded, so that's how long it takes. So, shut this down. I said shut this down. There we go. Anyway, but it's pretty nice. It also has AirPlay support, so you can hook up your phone to it as well. But I'll talk about networking in a bit. One of my roommates is in a frat, so there's this flag. But look outside here. Here is your view. You get a view of the front. Let me open the other shade actually, so I can show you. There we go. I'm gonna show you the window in its full view. It's not quite floor to ceiling, but it's pretty close, and it's massive. And yes, these do open just a bit, like this. Good enough to let in some air, but not right now because it's flipping hot. It's the summer when I'm recording this. And then we have this couch here. You don't have the pillows or the blankets, we got those, but you have this nice couch and these two coffee tables. And then the other side of the bar with our trash and recycling cans. You do not get these, by the way. You have to supply these yourself, which I thought was really interesting. So heads up when you're looking for a place here, you have to supply your trash like that. Speaking of trash, let me show you the trash chute and room, etc. It's right here. It's actually kept relatively clean. Fortunately, of course, I had bad timing. Someone spilled here, but usually, especially compared to the other high-rises on campus I've seen, this is actually pretty clean for the most part. I've usually seen trash and recycling, and the chutes work just fine, so we're good with that. It's fantastic. All right, let's get back to the room. Let me show you the common area lit up, actually. Like this. You have two LEDs shining from the kitchen, which actually provides a decent amount of light. One thing I wish there was light is right here above the bar, because the kitchen lights are good, but it would be nice to have dedicated hanging lights. These hanging lights are good though, the ones over the window, so yeah. So there is the common area, and before I finish up, this is just a closet slash pantry slash whatever you want it to be with all kinds of stuff, so pretty neat. Now let's go ahead and turn on these lights and go down the hallway. First off, let's go to my room. I'm room A. There's rooms A through E here. Rooms A and B share a bathroom. Room C has a detached bathroom. Room D is a private bathroom. And room E also has a detached bathroom. So So this is how it usually goes. Although Unit B has moved since May, so I've had my own bathroom effectively since then, which is really nice. So each bedroom has its own key. So you're going to open it up like this, and here you go. Here is my bedroom. It's not the most decorated thing in the world, but it's pretty decent. I have all my stuff around here. My bed is a little bit folded, but it's okay. And here you go. So we have the fan and everything else, and the window. This is room A of the 5x4D plan, in case you're looking to actually get one of these rooms. So here we go. Look around, something like that. Let's turn on and here is my closet. So got a bunch of stuff in it, but besides all the stuff in it, you do have these racks and this hanging pole, so you can put whatever you want in there. Some units have walk-in closets. Obviously this one doesn't. I don't like that. By the way, this fan does have a light, but you do have to pull the string to get it, because the light and the fan are locked on one switch, which is pretty annoying to me. But other than that, there's not too much wrong with this bedroom. It is a little small. I'm putting on 0.5, sitting in the corner, and you can see an estimate of how big it is. Let me go in 1x to see if that would change the interference or anything like that. But I can fit almost the full room in here. So here we go. And this is the window. It's a pretty nice, almost floor ceiling again. And this one looks out north to the mountains, and there's a gas station as well. But mainly the mountains. That was my old home, the owner's village. I'm gonna use it over there. Dominoes. So you have a lot of cool things close to you. And as I mentioned in my opening shot, we also have a Jack in the Box really close to us. So that's pretty neat. And the one thing I will have to say about this is that the window is nice and the energy transfer is usually not too bad. The only issue I have with is maybe a bit of noise. At night, you'll definitely be able to see some things, or hear some things rather, like motorcycles or whatever, and that may be kind of annoying. So the shade is a darkener, as you can see. But I like the natural light, so we're opening it back up. And so that is the bed. So here we go. We have all our stuff. Now that we're done with that, let me show you my bathroom. As you can see, this bathroom is shared between A and B. But it's nice and close next to my room, so there we go. It is detached though. Anyway, here it is. You have all this space for you. Hi. And then we have a fan and a shower and a toilet, of course. So, interesting enough, this is a shared bathroom, but there's only a single sink. Of course, since roommate B has been out of there since the beginning of May, I've been able to turn this sink into sort of my own, and it works nice and well. Speaking of, the hot water takes a bit to come on sometimes, but it usually comes on within a little bit and it stays hot pretty consistently. There was a boiler outage one time, but it was fixed within like a day, so that's good. Toilet's pretty standard, toilet paper roll holder, and interestingly enough, I don't know, but one of the non-shared bathrooms do not have this extra towel rack, so keep that in mind for units C and E. I think unit D also doesn't have that, but that's a private bathroom, so I can't go in there. So yeah, this is your light fixture. There's actually 3 lights in this building. The fan and the light are screwed together on a single circuit, so there we go. And let me go ahead and show you inside the shower. All units feature walk-in showers with glass doors, and as you can see, the shared bathroom also has an extra shelf up. Actually, has an extra shelf up here to put more stuff. I only have the 4 things because I'm a man, so I don't really need too many products, but I do have. But my hair is getting long, so I do need dedicated conditioner. So there is that. But here's the shower and the head. It seems like there was at one point they had speakers in the showers, but it looks like that like procedure has since been removed ever since a certain time. So no more speakers in the shower, but that was a thing at one point, but I think it's all right. So let me go ahead and close the door and give one more look at the bathroom. Just pan through and you can see all the things about it. Sorry about that out there, that's just my swimsuit. I'm letting it dry. I went in the pool. Speaking of, I'll show you that later. So there you go. That is my unit. Or at least what I can show you of my unit, so I'll I'll see you guys at the gym.
Alright, now here we are at the gym. And there's a lot of stuff here too, so be prepared for a nice long video. The first thing that you're going to see on the right are 6 treadmills. I don't even think any of the high-rises have this many at once, but I could be wrong. All of the equipment here, with few exceptions, is from Matrix, who often do commercial and multifamily fitness equipment manufacturing. These treadmills look over the lobby with the windows I showed you from earlier, which give the gym a bit of light, especially when it's daytime outside, which is nice. You can see some weight machines as well, which are also made by Matrix. You can also see that these treadmills always get a lot of use, but not during the summer when I visited. Next to the treadmills are 4 elliptical machines, also of the same variety from Matrix. All the mentioned machines have a Matrix Touch console, which allows you to customize your workout as well as use several apps on it, as it's essentially an Android device. If you have an account, your login information with these apps will even be the same across all the equipment you use. One of them seemed to connect to the internet, and I used that one to watch a lot of shows while I ran. And one of the treadmills also had a strange screen glitch, as you just saw. But it seems to be better than it once was, and I couldn't reproduce the level it once was. During peak times of the day, this gym can get super full with lots of residents, so make sure you have something to do. Not that that's a problem. Behind all the cardio equipment, there are weight training machines and some rowing machines. So you can go ahead and take a look at all the weight machines that you can go ahead and use. Here they play an upbeat house mix inside of music using an audio mixer controlled by the wall because music plays in here. They play an upbeat house mix rather than more popular songs, which I'll get to in a minute. On the south side of the gym, you'll find a huge rack filled with all kinds of equipment as well. As you can see, this is the music player. I don't know what song it was playing right there, but you can go ahead and fill it out if you need to. So yeah, back to the south side of the gym, which you'll find a huge rack filled with all kinds of equipment, like dumbbells, kettlebells, medicine balls. It has it all. A ladder trainer and a punching bag are also there too, which is like really heavy and super cool. In the back, you'll actually also find 2 bench presses. Unfortunately, many people do leave weights in the wrong place, and it is a challenge to get back as residents go ahead and do that. The turf here had to also be replaced at some point. Now let's go ahead and go to the balcony on the south side, and I guess you can go here for fresh air. However, I mainly went out here because I wanted to show you that if you choose a south-facing room, you probably shouldn't, because you just face Malibu or Pacific, where residents there are pretty rowdy, and plus you can't see much. We don't expect much in terms of fantastic view, but you still get natural light. Some rooms don't even have windows, which you'll have to look at. It's the 4x2 light. Anyway, back to the gym. Now we have some spin cycles and some other cool things as we go through the gym, walk through, see the music player and elliptical machines. And now we're going to go ahead and head into the special yoga room where I have seen residents usually go there during part of their workout or just hang out. This space is usually for more mellow exercises, stretching, or something else of that matter, although there are also a few like spin cycles which have like a metal style thing. If you want a more secluded room from the gym, here it is, and it is pretty good. You can go ahead and see that they have some extra weights over here, some extra medicine balls, and sometimes these do get misorganized. In fact, they get misorganized quite a bit, but then you can go ahead and get all of these throughout. So that is the additional yoga room and the other cool parts of this gym, and we're going to go ahead and get to the refreshment suite, which is located right in the middle of the gym. Once you're done working out, we enter the refreshment suite, where you can go ahead and grab a complimentary towel. These are constantly replenished on business days, which is super nice, and it's a really great gesture to have all these towels, especially in a lighted rack. Right next to the towel is the spa wellness suite. Firstly, on the right, real quick, you'll find the water fountains, and including the only public water bottle filler on property, but it is super nice, just like the other buildings there. The bathrooms here are also just as trendy as everything else, which is super neat. But now let's go ahead and go to the cool stuff, like the sauna, which is a sauna. It is really nice. It's a radiant sauna, and it doesn't have a central location, so it keeps it nice and warm. And you can see it's really hot in here. It's like 130 degrees at the moment, so it's super neat. And you go in here to warm up after the rain or anything like that, and it's so nice. You can just sit in here for a while, but not too long, of course, as it is a sauna. But it is a super duper nice relaxing utility, and I definitely miss this at the place that I have now, so it's super cool. And next up, across from the sauna, there is a steam room, which is super neat. If you want like wet heat versus dry heat, you have both of whatever it does that. You have to turn it on though, because sometimes it might not work until you do it, but once you do that, you can enjoy the refreshing nature of a hot and wet environment. Wait for a second, and the steam should turn on as it has to boil through the pipes, probably using a furnace, and just a second, we should see some steam come out. There we go, here goes the steam room. So go ahead and check it out. It's a super nice, super beautiful sauna. The steam is very hot. I used to sit in here, and boy, the therapy you get from this is next level. I recommend you try feeling in a steam room. And so there you go. That right here is the essence of the gym and wellness suite. And there's also some cool art present throughout this way too, just like the rest of the property. But we have to check out the next amenity, which is probably the one they advertise a lot, and that's the roof. Like, what's going on up at the roof of Hub Park Avenue? Like, you pay for this, what kind of roof do you get? Well, let's go ahead and find out. On the 7th floor, you'll find the doorway to the pool deck, which looks like it's secluded from the 7th floor, and there's also the VIP units up here. Once you're going to go ahead and open the door using your fob, there's a lot of cool things to unpack here once we open that door. So here we are onto the deck, which is very nice like always, and you can see we got the view over here, which looks north, and it's really nice. We'll get to that in a minute. But real quick, take a look at the bathroom again and just how trendy it is. No one's here, don't worry. But it is also super neat. So first thing, let's go ahead and check out the lower part of the deck, where you can see here. Yeah, smile indeed. Check it out. You can go ahead and cook up whatever you want. There's two barbecues, gas grills placed right near the entrance. I never got good at barbecuing, but my roommates definitely did, and they made some really good stuff. There's a timer for your gas, so you don't need to bring up a tanker, which is really good. Right in front of the grills, there is a table for you to enjoy your food once it's done with all of your friends, which is definitely one of the hallmarks of this location. Next, we're going to go ahead and climb up some stairs. Well, you don't have to because there's a ramp if you need it. But once you go ahead and get on deck, you'll find a pretty fantastic pool area guarded by 2 flamingos. The pool itself is a beautiful looking infinity pool where the edges line up with the ground. It makes the pool feel more full, which is honestly super neat and like looks so cool. Like, the pool is only 4 feet deep, but take a look at what I'm doing here. It's so cool. The pool is only 4 feet deep because of the limitation, but that's a theme across like a lot of the high rises is the short pool. So unfortunately, there is no diving into this pool. However, you can like dunk your head and get a nice splash, which in this summer heat like that it is right now, it would be absolutely pretty fantastic to get there. And then you go ahead and to the front, guarding the pool, you'll find a model of a tiger lying down. It's another cool hallmark exclusive to the location. And now, check out this view. Damn, it's wonderful. You can see basically all of North Campus, and you can easily see 180 degrees easily around you. You can see Tucson House, the Honors Village, and way more cool things other than this thing like that. However, one of the things I would tend to disagree with their decisions on this part is the frosted panels facing west, the frosted glass rather than the normal glass, because you can't see the view because it covers some internal units, but it could have been a fantastic view, which, like, I wish it could be. Yeah. As I mentioned, I filmed this during the summer, and that's definitely because I could not get a clear view of the deck during the school year, as there are easily 35 people, at least, getting a suntan up here. My skin is basically incapable of tanning, so I have never done so. You can put an umbrella for shade as well, which is pretty cool. Alongside the pool, you'll find some loungers and some other cool things, and day beds, which is very nice, so you can go ahead and relax. And there's surrounding the pool and the hot tub, you'll find them. Yep, there's a hot tub too. Let's turn on the bubbles. Yes, this hot tub is a pineapple, and this works really, really well. Like one of the few buildings that actually does. It's always kept nice and steamy, and it's a perfect place to go every night during the cold months when I was there. The bubbles are so relaxing too. Man, I wish I could have taken more of my friends here. This would have been just an amazing sight for them to see, and you can go ahead and check this out, which would be so cool. At least there is, in fact, a next time, just somewhere different, which I'll allude to later. You'll also find more day beds, and power outlets to plug your stuff in. Real quick, the spas also do have a bunch of rules, just like every other amenity, but that's mainly just legal jargon, but something like that. In the west end of the west end of the deck, you'll go ahead and see these cool things, a semi-enclosed space with more couches, tables, and chairs, as well as 2 outdoor TVs, which are so cool. You can usually put whatever you want on them. You'll just have to ask the office to change the channel or plug in your HDMI port. And real quick, I want to illustrate a point here. Check out that motel sign. But go ahead and take a look outside. This is the view from beyond those frosted panels. Like, look at how cool it could have looked. But, like, they didn't do it. Like, I know the 828 is going up there, but, like, come on. Like, I feel like I should have that. Anyway, you can go ahead and see the other TV and check out the view up here. So that's basically how it's going to look, or what the view could have been, which, I don't like that. You can see the TVs are playing Atmosphere right now. And take a peek out here. I mean, you can't see a decent view, so why block it? But here's just another view of the deck, which is really cool. And well, what the hell? Let's go ahead and check out the swimming pool area at night, as it lights up super nicely. It's almost a cool, different vibe at night than it is during the day. It's a nice place you can hang out and go swimming late at night. Usually. Sometimes the pool was somewhat cold. I have no idea if it was heated. No matter though, let's go ahead and check out the nighttime experience. First you go up the stairs that are the flamingos again, and then you go ahead and go into the deck. Notice more of the umbrellas are down, and the little light under the pool, which is super neat. First of all, let's go ahead and take a look around and check out the loungers and the environment, which looks so cool. Notice the buildings behind us though, so that's why you can't see in other directions. But now take a look at the nighttime view. It still looks absolutely fantastic, and you can see for miles. Like, I wish I had a pair of binoculars because these are so cool. Like, I can't believe it. So cool. Yeah. Now, unfortunately, there is a bit of baggage when it comes to this pool deck. Some of the residents here are fairly annoying, and they do leave their trash here, which can pile up until the next day when they go ahead and clean it. So, sadly, some people have even smoked up here, which is, like, highly against your lease contract, but apparently they don't even realize that. By the summer, you didn't see too much of that, thankfully. There's also a bunch of plants you can see, like a garden towards there. And there's so many other cool things. So, street lamps and underglow light up the deck at night. And wait, let's turn on the bubbles again. You can go ahead and see them on. There you go. But you can see that there are these street lights that point downward, which you don't need a light for the pool and the hot tub because of these cool lights. So it's so cool. It does have the lights in the pool. They were never turned on during my tenure, which I don't know why. Notice on the west side there are some speakers, so this place does play music. And check it out, the TVs are actually now visible, which, yes, they are playing Atmosphere, which is the free business TV channel, which, like, I'm not sure, but it's kind of cool. And you can go ahead and see, this here is the motel sign, which I find super cool. I wish it lit up a bit more, but it's so cool. And aside from the unscrupulous thing of people leaving crap out here, this is a great deck to go ahead and hang out on. Let's get one more view, by the way. See the cactus right there, the day beds, and everything else. So yeah, it's honestly a really nice place to hang out, which is super neat.
And well, that brings us to the end of our tour. Now I do have a bit more footage to show you guys. This is my empty unit right upon move-out season. And here's a picture of my unit from the outside. Notice the skylight and the rainbow interface, it's very cool. Here's a few more thoughts that I have about this place. The building security systems and the people are pretty good, and it's more or less what they advertise, as compared to a lot of places I've seen. There was only one incident that ever happened during my tenancy, and the only reason this occurred was the lobby doors were unlocked during the day. This was pretty convenient and not an issue on the surface, but it did lead to someone going into the building, and a careless resident didn't care. After this occurred, the practice of unlocking the doors discontinued, and all the doors are now locked 24/7. Aside from that, I saw very little risk to safety if you lived here. It seemed to be all secure, most of the doors seemed to be locked up, and a lot of different places seem to be very good with all of this stuff. And this one especially seems to be great. All of the security guards I've seen here have been very friendly. There's a night guard here usually every night from I think 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. more or less, or maybe it's to 4 a.m. I'm not entirely sure. But the guards in the building are very friendly, and one of them even went out of his way to let me know if there are any problems, etc., and he gave me my contact information. That's a good detail that you may not see with all security. However, one little problem is that some of the fob readers, as you might have seen in my video, they do take a little bit to scan, so you have to hold it for a second. I don't know if they could fix that, but that might also be because of the system they're using and they want it to do a little bit slow, but it's not bad, and it's better than accepting bad fobs though, and ones that don't belong to the building. Hold on to your keys though at all times. Make sure you have them every time you leave the room. lockouts are expensive and might not be done as quickly as you like. One time, I've never needed one, but for one, some reviews said they could be frustrating to deal with and they cost $50 each time, so be wary of that. Noise from other units has not really been that bad, although sometimes loudish gatherings may be held and heard from the hallway. Both of my neighbors were party people, the ones across in my units, but when I got into my unit and shut the door, even when they were having a blast, I couldn't really hear a thing. It looks like they've learned a thing or two because this is like the 4th building in the series. They built the stuff with the additional precautions in mind, and it's hard to hear them, despite the common spaces having walls facing us. While it felt like the exterior walls may have been a bit thinner than I would have liked in terms of noise levels, the internal walls were much more thought out. This is definitely not too much of a party house in terms of noise level, as some other apartment buildings and high-rises around campus seem to be, but it isn't too quiet either, so expect to hear some noise through the hallways, but in your room you probably should be fine. The only serious noise complaint we ever had to file was when the unit actually below us of all units was having a massive party with speakers that should not be used, and they were on their balcony. This was very rare and it never happened again, but it was certainly out of the ordinary. And the external noise conflicts that people sometimes talk about, it was very unlikely to occur, similar to other places, but it was very, very unlikely something like that would ever happen again, and that's good. Lastly, from my experiences overall, move out. My move out experience wasn't as good as I could hope, but I blame some, but not all of this, on some of my roommates. I won't give too much detail, but in a nutshell, someone was very careless with their cooking, causing massive damage to our stovetop. Other various damages, they were there too. Core Spaces took quite a bit of money out of my deposit for these later on, and so I warn you guys, if you ever stay here, have spotless rooms as much as possible if you want to see your deposit. But I really didn't want to leave the building because my experience was just very good, and even with the deposit drama, it was a great deal for me, and I'm so glad I got this. Now, for by far my biggest gripe of this building, and that's the prices. The only reason I could come live here is because I negotiated a special rate with someone who needed their lease transferred. The leases are actually a year long, and so if you cannot stay for that long, you need your lease transferred or you risk paying the additional fees. So that's how I could live here, is because someone needed their lease transferred to me. The rack rate for my unit was $1,505, which is pretty darn expensive, plus utilities, which are handled through Conservice, which is a pretty challenging provider to set up with. With my deal I negotiated, it did bring my net rate down to $1,075, which is a much better deal. Out the door, with utilities, my rate was just over $1,100 every single month, which is a perfectly adequate amount of money to live in one of these buildings. However, sometimes you'll be paying lots of money for some of these configurations. Some of them may not even be what you were looking at during the model unit tours. There is only one model unit, which is a 4x2, and it has the best views you can get. So be sure to keep your expectations in check for the unit you actually will get. One thing that can be improved is to take panoramic pictures of all rooms when all the units are vacant. Ask to see those whenever you're on your campus tour. That way, people can get a real idea of what their room will look like. There's at least one of every floor plan, then the office has them. So go ahead and ask for those videos so you'll be able to see exactly what your room should look like. As for the high expenses, that's a problem with almost all of the high-rises on Main Gate near campus, and even some outside of there. Some building raised their prices, and then another building raised their prices because they're like, ooh, hey, I can charge that much, and the cycle will continue. More often than not, students get reeled into the fancy-looking apartment amenities at the building, and then they get to convince their families to live there. My family had a bit more control, and they said, not unless you can do so on a comparative budget, which is exactly what happened in my case. I don't think this will ever be resolved to the true value of these properties, given how much the model has worked in the past. But it would be fantastic if the median rent at these places was less than $1,500 each. For reference, my unit would have brought in $7,500 total if all 5 people were living there. That's $1,500 each, and it would be that much money. However, this year is actually really good for these high-rises in availability. The rates have actually gone down. With less demand of housing at the U of A, there are less people looking to get into these bases. And it's also because the new Hub First is being constructed in Tucson. right next to the Parker and right next to Malibu, and it's another building added to this, which is additional competition, which is why another rent is going down. Alas, I will never be able to check that one out, but I will love to see how this one turns out. I hope this gets the same DNA that is present in here and presumably Hub Speedway because they're both owned by the same companies. However, given that these rates are fairly consistent across all these properties in terms of expense, Hub Park Avenue is probably the one I would consider one of the most worth it, in my opinion, in regards to what you get. If you had to spend that amount of money on a main gate high-rise, I would go to the Hub. If you're willing to take the Slink a bit further, I do think there's a place you can get more of your money's worth, but if you want a walkable location with great features, pretty good safety, and basically everything that they advertise, or if you can find a special relet or promo deal, Hub Tucson Park Avenue is a very solid choice for you if you can get the best deals, or even if you wanted to live at Main Gate, this is where you would live. Thank you guys for watching. I wish I could do more of these videos, but these leases are very long term, but expect me to do a similar review next year, which is the place I live at starting the end of this week. I want to do more high quality videos like this, so let me know some great ideas I could work on, if based on my interests. See you guys later, and subscribe. Thank you.